All right, so we are going to talk about classical conversations. You were actually pretty hesitant to do classical conversations. We're Jewish.
Yeah.
It's a Christian homeschool group.
Very Christian.
They're extremely Christian.
They've got a lot of really Christian elements to it that is really hard to get past. But all that being said, I do like their memory work, and their songs are really catchy. And they're overly not that hard to give a Jewish spin to if you're willing to put in the effort, have a conversation. And that's the other thing too. Like, they led to some really good conversations about things. And we're more than happy to tweak the wording of their songs to make it more appropriate to our beliefs. So that was good. And it was a good, opportunity for her to make some really good friends.
Yeah.
And
I think she really enjoyed the classroom element to it.
Yeah.
And it's only once a week, but thank you, Tove. It's only once a week, but she, got a lot out of it. It's only a half day too.
Yeah.
So we still get to do school that day. I think a lot of
what I didn't like about it was I felt like it stole a school day from us, because they do not get a lot done in terms of school at the community day, at least not in terms of what we consider doing school. And
for a lot of parents, classical conversations is the entirety of their school.
I know, but we have feelings about that.
We're a little extra. So, we, at the beginning of the year, did a we had already been doing cycle 1.
Yeah, we had been working on their memory work. We had been going through some of the supplemental materials you had gotten online. We had had a pretty good foundation of their cycle through world history. And then we started with a world history kind of thing that we were doing, that we incorporated a lot of their work into, that when we then went right into doing the actual classical conversations with cycle 3, we were able to very smoothly transition into a deep dive on American history that mostly lined up, our whole history for the year lined up pretty closely for a good part of it with what she was doing in CC.
We worked very hard to do those magazine files.
Well, yeah, but we weren't going to stick to your schedule even a little bit.
I know, you guys are not schedule people at all. You just did your own thing. So
it's another reason why I was really hesitant and had a lot of big feelings about doing classical conversations, is because they are you are doing this week, and these are the things that you're focused on this week. And I am the whole reason I'm homeschooling is because who are you to tell me what I'm doing this week in school? That was my whole thing.
Sorry, our son's on the other side of the camera.
Pulling out all the Frog and Toad books.
All the books are all over the place, and he keeps handing them to me.
We're going to read
It's
books
really
now,
funny.
you guys. After this video, we're reading books.
Apparently. So now we're going to be going back into cycle 1. And it's really kind of funny that we started with cycle 1 a year and a half ago, and we went through all 3 cycles. And now we're going back to cycle 1. Are you going to do things? We're going to do things very differently this year for cycle 1.
Pretty differently. But I think all right, so the books we're reading are different, but we're actually going to do things in the same way. And that what we're going to do is read a whole bunch of books that go through history, that go through these time periods of history, hitting a whole bunch of different elements. And so last year, are we just going to blend this into history, or?
No.
We'll talk about what we did with history stuff later.
Okay, so we had the binder, and I usually did morning work with her.
You
in
focused
the binder.
heavily on the classical conversation stuff. I will, throughout the week, when we're in the class, we will go through the memory work and we'll do like 10, 20 minutes of memory work together.
How did you feel about the presentations? That's a huge part of CC for us.
I like it. I liked it. And when we were on with the presentations, we were very on, but over time we got a little overwhelmed by them. And so Zelly ended up going and just kind of like riffing on an idea for 3 minutes, which she is great at. And if nothing else, those times when she had to do that kind of proved that she was good at thinking on her feet and pulling up the information that we've studied and like using it to present something.
Which is great. It's
Yeah,
an
which
excellent
is-
skill to have.
Which is like the art of doing a presentation to a certain extent. Reading a book. That's frog and that's toad. No, I got that
Other way.
backwards. That's frog and that's toad.
Okay. Dude, either be in my lap or don't. But pick one.
They will ride down the big hill. Oh no, he lost his friend. And he is still going. And he is still going. Oh, and now he sees a bird. And then he thinks, oh no, where is my friend? I am all alone. Oh, and then he hit a tree. Poor Toad. Okay, goodbye.
Okay, bye, Toad.
We'll edit that out later. Get that in post.
Okay, so presentations. She started off really, really strong, and they kind of fizzled.
Well, I think she stayed strong. Just like her strength changed from being really good at memorizing
Memorize.
a
Regimented
set
presentation.
presentation to riffing on a topic, and she proved that she could do either fairly confidently. And like, if you remember back in speech and debate, those were just two kind of different, like, one was doing an extemporaneous performance and one was doing a prepared presentation, and she showed that she could do both.
That's cool.
And she had fun with it. And I think for me, the thing I cared most about her with classical conversations was that she had fun with some other kids and she had fun with it. So
What would you say was your favorite CC resource?
I don't
Okay, so
understand the
you've
question.
got the CDs that play all the history songs and things, the app, the flashcards.
Okay, I see what you're
big
asking.
like timeline cards
So,
and science cards.
The thing we use the most in terms of the work we do for the CC, that was actually work we were doing for CC, we'd use the app. That worked out well for us because it was able, you can quickly navigate through it and go to the stuff, memorization work for the week you're working on and get right there and focus on it. And you can do like 5 days surrounding, or 5 weeks I guess where it is, surrounding the time you're working on and just do a big chunk of stuff. But in terms of what we like the best overall, the big hit, like 16-minute history song. That is the jam. Like, we
it's
can
called
get
the timeline
down.
song. My daughter calls it the history song.
We can get down on the timeline song, like all day, any day.
And she had some big wins. She has the timeline song memorized pretty much.
Yeah.
She has all the presidents memorized, states and capitals, the preamble, Bill of Rights.
She does a great preamble. to
She
the
does a great
Constitution.
preamble.
It's good. It's really good.
All right, so overall, we liked CC enough that we're doing it again this year.
Yeah, I think for community, if nothing else, like,
And it really helps that they're within walking distance.
they are within walking distance, and that really does it for me. And
And the director's house is within walking distance.
it's still very.
That's Classical Conversations.